Life Game by Emma Tallon. Narrated by Shash Hira. Chapter 1. There she was again, that girl. She had moved in last week, renting a room in one of the buildings Freddie owned. He had watched her struggling along the path with her boxes, traipsing up and down on her own from the back of the battered old Astra that was obviously hers. It annoyed him that no one around had offered to help the girl. If he hadn't been in the middle of a business meeting in the cafe across the road, he would have helped her himself. That would soon have put the loitering bums surrounding her to shame and put a fire up their arses. It would be deep shame indeed for them to be seen by Freddie Tyler doing nothing to help a young girl struggling on her own. Obviously, they had no idea he was in the vicinity, but Freddie often preferred it like that anyway. It was a good way to suss out what people were really about. She had disappeared by the time he'd finished his meeting that day, seemingly only having one carful to unload. He had scanned the high-rise building with a critical eye, wondering who exactly was subletting a room out. It wasn't her own flat she was moving into, not with such a pathetically meagre amount of belongings, and definitely not without Freddie knowing. There wasn't much Freddie missed in his various businesses. His intelligent head was full of all the details, large and small, and he had a good firm of people in his employ to remember anything that he forgot. The flats were one of his less nefarious businesses, the paperwork all above board. There were too many dwellings to know who lived there exactly, but he would have been made aware of any new tenancy contracts being drawn up. She was walking up the road towards the same building again now, arms full of brown paper shopping bags, barely able to peek over the top. She wasn't paying much attention to where she was going, her eyes unfocused as if in a daydream. She most certainly wasn't aware of the man standing just across the road appraising her. As he watched, one of the bulging bags tore a little at the side and a net of oranges fell out, along with a bag of flour which promptly exploded on the pavement, covering her legs in a shock of white powder. Her eyes flew wide open, and her mouth formed a little O of surprise as she stopped and bent over the bags to check her legs. She looked at the oranges and then back at the bags, trying to figure out how to get them without everything else spilling all over the road. Freddie stifled a grin at the comical scene and quickly jogged across the road. He took some of the bags for her as she bent down to grab the runaway oranges. He squatted down with her and gathered some of them up into the bags that were still intact. "I think you'll have to put some of these down to roadkill. Some of them are a bit past it on the bruising," Freddie said.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?